How many springs does an official ball have in it?
How many springs? It doesn't have any springs in it.
Well, how does it bounce then?
It's air. There's air in the ball.
Well, there's air in this room. How come this room ain't bouncing?
Hey, everyone. I'm your host, Chris Hasek-Watt, and you're listening to your favorite tennis podcast, Love Means Nothing. It's good to be here with you. It's Tuesday morning at just before 7:30, April 15th. 2 days following one of the best sports weekends, for me at least. You got Monte Carlo, you got the Masters, so lots to catch up on. I already had my protein shake this morning, heavy on the protein, just like Saxon off of White Lotus. Let's just talk about that for a second. I don't know when this started, but I've been a White Lotus fan for a number of years now, and it just absolutely took off. I feel like that's all people are talking about right now, and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon saying how great it was. I think just to give my perspective, I think season 3 was amazing and super entertaining, but I would say still season 2 was the OG of seasons. I would even say season 1 might have been a little bit better than season 3. There was a significant change, I felt, at least in the ending of season 3 versus the other two. And that was that it felt a lot more dark. Okay, because the murders, slash killings at the end of the previous 2 seasons, they all had like kind of a comedic edge to them in a way, where this one didn't. It was just kind of like, it was awful. You felt terrible for the people that died, etc. So it definitely came off a little bit different. Still very enjoyable, but I wonder how they're going to do season 4, if they're going to get back to the comedic part or if it's going to continue to get kind of weirder and darker. Not really sure. Either way, it is a fantastic plot line or business model or whatever you want to put it for a TV show, because usually when you watch a show and you get into season 4, season 5, season 6, the characters get stale. They don't know where to take the plots anymore because they've already done it over again, and you just feel like, okay, now they're just repeating things, or they're just, making up things on the whim to keep people entertained. Whereas this, when you have new characters every show, it's basically endless, the opportunities. And I always thought that this was a good idea, even before White Lotus came out, because I used to work at Club Med as a tennis instructor. And I thought if there was ever a show, and I was more from the perspective of like people working, a gentil organisateur at a Club Med, and you get every week a new group of people just from real life experiences. The stories are endless. I thought I was smart in this show because Mook, the really innocent Thai girl working there, I'm like, everyone, this girl, I bet you in real life she's a model, because yeah, they're playing her down, but she's gorgeous. And it turns out that I'm an idiot, because her name is Lisa. She's like a huge K-pop star, and I checked her out on Instagram, and she has like over 100 million followers. So she was definitely very well known before White Lotus, but I didn't know. But overall, good show. Check it out. Side note, I actually partied one time with Patrick Schwarzenegger that plays saxophone. It was like Halloween. It must have been over 10 years ago. It was crazy. Anyway, it was a crazy night. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. Moving on. So back to sports. Monte Carlo Master. Great weekend. I would love to attend the Masters. It would probably be one of my favorite tournaments to go to, both whether it's tennis or golf. Maybe Masters golf, even though tennis is my sport. That would be my favorite event to go to. Every year, most people I know, I was a little bit late to the bandwagon, but you sign up for the lottery to get tickets. It's super cheap. If you get tickets, they're like $150 a day. But the problem is getting them. And I thought the odds were more like 1 in 1,000 realistically. I looked it up just before this pod. And it's 1 in 150. So just under 1%. It's about 0.5%, which is higher odds than I thought. So maybe one day I'll win the lottery to go to the Masters. I love that no phones are allowed there. I love that the food menu sandwiches are still $2. They keep the tradition. I wouldn't know what to wear if I went to the Masters. These are the things I thought about. Like, would I just wear like some basic khaki shorts and a white shirt, or would I kind of like zhuzh it up a little, whatever the term is, up a little bit, and try and dress a little bit more edgy? Is that allowed at Augusta? I don't know, but I'd find a happy medium. Let's just go with that. Over the weekend as well, my life now basically it's just about kids. Now I attended a 2-year-old's birthday party on Saturday, a 1-year-old's birthday on Sunday. I think I said Saturday. So one was Saturday, one was Sunday. I had soccer practice for toddlers. And by the way, side note, if you go to a 1-year-old's birthday party, don't dress in all white like I did. Like I dressed up like I was going to an NSYNC concert. Okay. And for some reason I wore white jeans, white shirt, and then I wore like a white little sweater over. And like I had 4 layers of white going on. And immediately it was like a pizza party. My son goes handful in the pizza sauce, then handful on my jeans. And now I need to go get them bleached out. Okay. Great jeans though. APC, a little baggy. Talking about APC, actually. APC did a collab with Asics. And Alex Diminor at Monte Carlo was wearing the collab. I thought it was kind of cool. I thought that they chose Diminor to wear the collab was, I don't know. I probably would have chose Musetti because he's just kind of more of a fashionable guy, I would say, off the court. He's got a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more charisma, but they chose Alex Diminor. He is the top ranked player wearing Asics, so I guess from that perspective, it makes sense. And he wore them well as well. Anyway, hopefully we see more collabs. I would love to see a Kith Wilson collab for on-court wear. The problem is that none of the players sponsored by Wilson are that cool, and therefore it probably wouldn't do justice, what the designs are. Like Nicholas Jari wearing them and losing first round. I don't think so. I actually think that Wilson should have gone after Musetti. It would have been a fucking great signing for them. And I bet you Nike's upset that they lost him now that he's like getting to finals of Masters Series. He's like now ranked 13 or 14 in the world. I was a little surprised they went with Asics. Maybe it's just a temporary thing. His contract ended with Nike, signed a 1 year with Asics, and he might move on. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if Wilson goes after them. And if anybody from Wilson is listening, I highly recommend you do. Okay, let's just talk about the Masters quickly before we jump into tennis. Rory McIlroy wins his 5th slam or major event. It is the slam for him, which means that he's won all 4 majors. He is the 6th player in golf history to do it, which I was a little surprised about, to be honest. I thought there's probably like 9 or 10 players that have accomplished that feat, but obviously very rare. The other players, who are they? Gary Player, you got Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, obviously, Tiger, another guy in the 20s or 30s, I forget his name, and now Rory McIlroy. So he's part of extremely good company. There were guys like Arnold Palmer that I thought would have done it, but he was like one major short. There was a couple other guys. I think Spieth is only 1 major short as well. So that's why I was a little surprised that there weren't more players. Anyway, it was a crazy Sunday. Some of the best shots you will see in golf and some of the worst shots you'll see in golf. And it just shows, this is why I love sports so much, is because nerves, tension, everything, they come into play and they can take over your body. Okay. And that's why there's so many unknowns. And for someone to get through the finish line when all the pressure is on them, it's just crazy. And I don't think, just based on his reaction after winning, which was like this combination of like relief, of joy, of happiness, of this like burden like off of your shoulders. Like it felt like his reaction was like he went back from the first time he's ever hit a golf ball or ever heard of the Masters, and this deep desire to win it. And finally, after lost opportunities, whatnot, not knowing if he was ever going to win this, after being like basically, major free for the last 10 years, to win it, the emotions and everything, it was crazy. It's hard to be a golf fan and not root for Rory when he missed that putt. First off, when he missed that eagle putt on 16, that was 6 feet. I'm just like, holy shit, another lost opportunity. Not even to mention dumping an 85-yard 3/4 half gap wedge into the water on 30 after laying up on the hole just to play it safe, and then he goes and hits like some incredible shots. Like, is it 16? I think it's 16. Where he had that eagle putt, missed it. Then on 18, he hits a perfect drive. He has a 3/4 gap and he dumps it in the bunker, hits a pretty good bunker shot. Then he misses a 5-foot putt to win it. Wasn't even close. Missed the hole completely. And then to come back in a playoff hole, put it to 3 feet. And that last putt, that's 3.5 feet. It wasn't a confident putt either. If you know golf, he didn't accelerate through it. It actually jumped to the left slightly. It was the left side of the hole. It wasn't a confident putt, but he was so close. It stayed on line, went in. Justin Rose, classy man, took it like a champ. Overall, it couldn't have been any better. I love that. I love sports where there's ups, there's downs, all that shit. Jim Vance afterwards, I have to say, great commentating by NBC or whoever was playing it. After Rory sunk the putt and they made their initial comments about Rory winning, the commentators didn't speak for almost 7 minutes straight. They just let the viewers soak it all in, and it was beautiful. Afterwards, Rory made a couple things. He told his daughter, Poppy, which, by the way, we're trying to come up with names because we've got a new one coming, a new little girl in August coming in. We think Poppy's kind of a cool name. What do you think? So tell me what you think of the name Poppy. It's a little Irish. Maybe for us, we kind of got more of like a Eastern Euro vibe going, a little bit more Italian, a little bit more Spanish, but it could be short for Penelope. It could be short for a few things. So it's not bad. Anyway, he told her to never give up on her dreams. And I wish somebody told me that when I was young. Masters winner wins $4.2 million. It got me thinking about, the disparity between tennis and golf and what it was. I looked up what the 100th player in the world made in golf last year, and it was $1.2 million. And then I looked up what the 100th player in tennis made last year, and it was $250,000. So more than 4 times. So golf players make essentially 4 times, at least at that level, 100th in the world, more than tennis players. In tennis, though, there is this thing where if you're in the top 100, you get paid at least $300,000. So the ATP will top you up. But still, it's still significantly different than golf. So just interesting to see 4.2 million. And then the equivalent to the Masters would be Wimbledon, and I'm not sure how much the players make. I think it's probably around $2.5 million. So there's definitely a difference. And of course, golfers have more longevity in the game. You can still be, Phil Mickelson, I think won, which one was it? The US Open or the PGA? He won it at 50, right? So it's possible. Tiger won the Masters, 5 years ago? He must have been in his, late 40s, mid 40s. That doesn't happen in tennis. We all know Djokovic, Fed. They've basically gone as long as a tennis player can go, but then they hit a wall. They hit a wall at around 37 years old, which before them, you would have said that was 31 years old or 32 or 33. So it's better to be a golfer, to be honest. I'm thinking for my kid, maybe being a pro golfer and a pro tennis player. Why not be like Bo Jackson? Okay, moving on to Monte Carlo. So let's just start with how much I enjoy watching tennis on clay. It is so much fun. You players get to balls that you don't expect that there's any chance that they can get to, and then they can get back into the rally. It's just dynamic. It's interesting. And I don't know if it's just pure clay at Monte Carlo, and it's obviously one of the most beautiful courts in the world, but watching Monte Carlo is a fun tournament to watch. And it's kind of sad how bad North Americans just in general are at clay. Like you'd think that there'd be some training facilities and there'd be red clay and the players, there'd be some Americans or Canadians that would be their preferred surface. They train on that surface. They come from rich families. They train in Europe. They train at the Nadal Academy, but there is nobody from North America that's good on clay. No American or Canadian got past the second round at Monte Carlo, and I think only 2 Americans were in the second round. A lot of them don't even show up because they know that they're going to lose so early, and it's the start of the European swing and they want to stay home. I don't know. I was listening to that podcast with Jack Sock, with Sam Querrey, with Isner, with the other guy, and Jack Sock never played it. He'd rather have stayed in Kansas City eating brisket instead of going to Europe in Monte Carlo. I don't get it. Maybe he's a homebody. Maybe he gets homesick. I don't really know, but it just seemed like a weird decision to me. Nothing major is the pod. It's pretty good, actually. And Ben Johnson, I think, is the 4th guy. Okay. So that's Monte Carlo. Alcaraz won the tournament. I think it's really a positive, obviously, for him after, losing relatively early for him, in Indian Wells, and then losing early, I think his first match in Miami, coming back with a good performance. The guy's just, when he is on, he is, he's the biggest ticket in tennis. He is so entertaining. He's always got a smile on his face. He's great for the game. And the guy's got more skill than anybody. Now, if he can just be consistent with it, then, this guy should be the best tennis player in the world. He's number 2 right now, which isn't so bad. But, yeah, I think it's good for him. He had a few wobbly sets early, and this just shows how good when he's on, how good he is. Like, he lost against Cerundolo. He lost the first set, and then he goes and wins the next 2 sets, 6-1, 6-0. He lost the first set against Musetti in the finals. Then he won the next 2 sets, 6-1, 6-0. So when he amps it up, when he turns it on, he kind of just leaves people in his dust. So good for Alcaraz. I think this will put him in a very good position for the clay swing. He goes to Barcelona next, his home country. I don't know where he grew up, but apparently he still lives with his parents. He's got to be worth like 100 million. But he still lives with his parents. And you know what? I kind of get it because he's likely on the road over 320 days a year. And when he comes home, he probably just wants some home cooked meals. Why have a giant house and compound when you're never there? And then you get there and you invite your family there to come visit anyway. It's tennis. Basically, if you're in any other sport, you know what I mean? You're not traveling as much. So you want maybe your own space, but in tennis, you're never home anyway. And this guy's so young. Like, why would you? He won 950,000 euros, which in the Canadian dollar is about $20 million because our currency has gone to absolute shit under the Liberals. We are poor people now. So 950,000 euros. It was always a lot, but for Canadians, it seems like a lot more over the last 2-3 years. I have to say Musetti playing very well. He obviously hit a wall in the finals, but I have to say that he has way more heart than I ever gave him credit for. He just seems to know when to amp up his emotions to get him going. He still is a little bit up and downy, but overall, I'm super impressed by Musetti. I think he's now ranked. Let me look up the rankings. I think I mentioned it like 12 or 13 in the world. He is 11 in the world, rose 5 spots. So I think that's probably a career high ranking for him. Now that I got this up, Sinner's still number 1, Alcaraz 2, Zverev, Fritz, Djokovic number 5. Draper is 6. Where's Medvedev now? Medvedev's 9. Interesting. Other two players to highlight in the tournament, Djokovic and Zverev both went out early. Okay, for Zverev, even though he's playing like shit recently, I'm not that concerned because with him, you kind of sometimes expect it. There's ups, there's downs. Obviously, I think clay court's his favorite surface, so I was surprised to see him lose in Monte Carlo, but I would not be surprised if he came back and won Munich. But he just needs to probably take a few days off tennis. Honestly, he needs to. Maybe he lost actually early because the guy loves Saint Tropez. Saint Tropez. See, as a Canadian, is it Saint Tropez or I like to say Saint Tropez. Saint Tropez in Cannes versus like Cannes. And this he's still a bit of a party boy. I'm sure he was having a little bit of fun. Maybe he wasn't focused on tennis like he should be. That's my baby yelling in the background. Okay. So that's Zverev. Djokovic, though, yes, I think there are some warning signs going off. He's at 99 ATP tournament wins. He's definitely half a step slower than he has been in the past. I know that he got to the finals of Miami, but he also had a relatively good draw. Do I think he's going to get his 100th title? Probably, but I actually think every title moving forward is going to be like tough. It's going to be tight. Maybe he'll just go into an ATP 250 to try to get an easy draw and get that 100th, but I don't see him winning another slam. Could he win Wimbledon? Yes, I guess he could, but I think it's very unlikely moving forward. Other news at Monte Carlo, Shelton. There was a little bit of controversy around Shelton. He was playing doubles. He, I guess, was targeting the opponent, his chest maybe, on the other side of the court. I think he hit him once, maybe twice, which is normal. You go, if you got a shot and there's no other place to go, you go through the person at the net. It's tennis. It's a tennis ball. It's not that big of a deal. It's part of the game. And listen to this. And this is partly why I started this podcast, okay? Because like the other voices in tennis, like it was just kind of pathetic. And they weren't advancing the game and they weren't talking to young men and women that are competitive and i.e. not soft. So this is from the Tennis Podcast. Kind of monopolize like the name here, like calling it the Tennis Podcast. And it's the woman. There's three commentators, Matt, Catherine, and David. And I'm just going to play what Catherine said about this. And then Shelton calling. So after essentially Shelton hit him, then there was a bit of conversation at the net. And Shelton said, "You're so soft. It's a tennis ball. It's not a baseball. You're so soft." And this is what her response was.
Just hate. I'm such a Ben Shelton fan. I just hate this. Like language matters so much, and that language is like so deep in the toxic masculinity dictionary. It's what Nick Kyrgios called Stefanos Tsitsipas at Wimbledon a few years ago. It's. I know this isn't the context in which it was intended. I'm not accusing Ben Shelton of being homophobic, but that language is misogynistic and homophobic, and it's grim. And justice for softness everywhere. There is nothing better than softness, and there is nothing better than being a soft man. Like, that is aspirational. Be soft.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the main voices in tennis. When an athlete calls another player soft, it's misogynistic, it's homophobic, and she suggests that every male should be softer. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. That's not going to happen. And that's not the world that we're going to live in. So they're not terrible, but just some of the takes are so brutal. Again, these are the leading voices in tennis. And if we want to attract a new audience, you want to attract men with testosterone that love sports, that get amped up. It is the entertainment industry after all. And then one guy calls the other guy soft and you're accusing him of being homophobic. Give me a break. Bad bad take. Phil's almost took someone's head off in Monte Carlo. It was actually kind of weird. After a win, he celebrated and you know, you hit a ball into the stands or over the stands. Well, the guy rocketed a line drive and it literally went straight into the crowd. Like he smoked the ball and literally almost hit like a fan in the head. It was just weird. Like, dude, when you're hitting a ball after a win, like, and you're that accurate and a great player, then you smash a ball and you don't know how to clear the crowd. Anyway, luckily he missed people. No big deal. We got Barcelona and we got Munich coming up. Both ATP 500 tournaments. It's really a split between players. I would say that the Barcelona field's a little bit stronger than Munich. But we'll go over that next week. Other news, if you haven't listened to it, listen to the Bill Maher thing on Donald Trump when he visited him in the White House last week. It's it's like a 12-minute monologue, and he talks about his visit. And overall, it's very positive. He says, you know what, I didn't expect it, but he was extremely accommodating. It was fun. He was funny, and they got along really well. So a lot of Trump haters are not happy, and they're all saying that they're no longer going to listen to Bill Maher. Other things to listen to, the Knowledge Project with Pierre Polyev. Listen to that. You get to know him a lot better. I hope all Canadians listen to it because he's an absolute beauty. So stop listening to all of the liberal lies. Pierre is also going on Joe Rogan next week, which I'm excited to hear about. Here's the thing with Canadians, okay? There's a lot of Canadians that are supportive of MAGA, but you don't hear about it right now because the liberals are basically comparing and drawing parallels between the Canadian conservatives and MAGA. And it's actually not true. Pierre and Trump couldn't be any different, and the parties are very different as well. But you know what I mean? If you support Pierre and you also support MAGA, or if that's who you'd lean towards, versus like Kamala, which would have been an absolute disaster, then it hurts Pierre in a way because there are some people in the middle in Canada. There's a lot of people in the middle that are going to dictate who wins this next election. And they are so anti-Trump that if they feel like the voter base of Pierre supports Trump, then there's no way they're going to vote for him. So I think there's a lot of actual MAGA supporters in Canada that are just kind of keeping it quiet right now. And hopefully after Pierre wins, they'll be a little bit more outspoken and they'll feel at ease expressing their real political opinion. So I think that's what's going on right now. Coco Guaff starts a new management company. It's called Coco Guaff Enterprises. It's a venture focused on business, philanthropy, and innovation, powered by WME, which is another huge agency. She's leaving Team 8, which is Federer's agency, and she said in her announcement that from the moment I first picked up a tennis racket, I've always believed my purpose extended far beyond the court. So at 4 years old, when she first picked up a tennis racket as a little child, she knew that her purpose extended much further beyond the court, everyone. Isn't that incredible how intelligent she was and how forward-looking Coco Gauff was? At the age of 3 or 4, she knew that her purpose went beyond tennis. Beautiful. Nadal is expecting another baby, number 2, in the summer. So congratulations to them. And I think that's it. That's it. Rory, I have notes. Rory didn't talk to DeChambeau in the entire final round of golf. I didn't love that. I'm still happy for Rory, but you know what I mean? Like, I guess there is some history between them, but still you can say a nice little hello, kind gesture. It goes a long way, people. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta help out with the baby. Thank you everyone for listening. I am your host, Chris Hasek-Watt. Don't forget to follow me, Chris Hasek-Watt, Instagram, on X. Comment, like, do what you got to do. Shoot me some questions for the next pod. I love you all. Bye-bye.